Replacing the nozzle has always been an important part of 3D printer maintenance and a way of altering the speed and quality that your printer is capable of achieving. However, it's always been a bit of a hassle to do. Bambu Labs and their design of their printers has made it a much easier process, and in this video we're going to be looking at how to replace the hot end in a Bambu Labs X1C. 3D printer nozzles have always been consumables, needing to be replaced as they wear out through use, especially if you're using more abrasive materials. And whilst some 3D printing enthusiasts may have kept a selection of different size nozzles to switch between for quality and speed, even for them a lot of the time it was quite a lot of hassle to do. Bambu Labs has made it an almost plug-and-play experience, and with the X1C there is two different ways that you can replace the hot end. You can just replace the nozzle itself with a built-in heatsink, which is certainly cheaper, as you remove your existing fan, heat element and thermistor and fit it to your new one. If you're swapping your nozzle and replacing it due to wear and tear, I definitely recommend this method, as it'll save you a lot of money in the long run and it's still a quick and easy process. Alternatively, however, you can get a complete hot end assembly, albeit for around twice the price. This is a very quick and easy thing to swap over, which we'll be looking at in a second, and it's very easy to do. This makes it much more viable to just swap down to smaller nozzle sizes when you need to print finer detail, or larger nozzle sizes when you need to print much faster. I'm going to swap my stock 0.4mm nozzle for a 0.2mm nozzle, allowing me to print particularly small items with particularly fine detail, and then I can just swap back to my 0.4mm nozzle later on for standard prints. So let's see what we need to do. If you bought a complete hot end assembly from Bambu Labs, it should look something like this. There's the nozzle where it extrudes from. That's housed within a silicone sock, which helps keep a stable temperature whilst printing. And then there is a fan blowing over a heatsink, which prevents the temperature rising up and melting the plastic too soon. You'll then notice three cables sticking out the top. We've got one for the fan, one for the heat element, which heats up the nozzle, and then one for the thermistor, which tells the printer when the nozzle has reached temperature. To get started, open the front door of your printer and, if you can, remove the glass lid from the top. If you're not able to remove the glass lid from the top as you have nowhere to move your AMS or something, that's fine, as whilst top access can be helpful, it's not necessary. Ensure no filament is loaded in the extruder. If you use an AMS, it will likely have already unloaded the filament for you, but if you are using an external spool, make sure you remove it before continuing. You'll also want to make sure that your hot end is nice and cool to the touch. Wait until it drops to at least 40 degrees, but 35 is even better. Then switch off the printer via the switch at the back or the plug at the wall. Next, simply pull the front of the extruder carriage open. It's connected by magnets and then should just hang there. You'll then see the three cables that we saw earlier and you need to remove them. So pull the first big one out, which is the big one at the top on the left. Then move over to the 4-wired one. Don't be tempted to pull by the wires. Make sure you're always removing these via the connectors themselves. Try and get your nail in underneath the white plastic connector and pull, maybe give it a bit of a wiggle, but pulling by the wires could end up removing the wires from the connector. Lastly is this little third one down here. Is a 2-cabled one with black cables, and there's a little lever on the top that you want to push down as you pull the connector. So if you just give that a little squeeze and a gentle tug, and the whole thing will come out. You may notice below it that there's actually another plug there. This one's glued in and you don't want to remove. Next, get an H2 hex wrench. Here you'll notice there are 2 screws and you want to remove these. These are what are holding in the hot end. Once they're removed, gently hold the heatsink in the fan and pull the hot end down. It should then come free from the extruder carriage. And that is the assembly removed. Now it's time for the new hot end assembly, and I'm going to do the exact same thing but in reverse. So here's my 0.2mm nozzle and I'm going to slot it up, pairing it up with these 2 screw holes. Screw it back in with both the screws that you removed earlier, and then it's just time for the cable management. The first thing to do is to tuck all of the cables in underneath this fixed one here. Get them all slotted in underneath, and then there is actually a hook to slide the cables in underneath. Get the plugs plugged back in one at a time, start with the lower ones and then work your way up, making sure that the 4-pin one has the black wire at the top. Insert by pushing on the plug sockets and not via the cables so you're not bending them. And make sure all 3 of the plugs are firmly fitted. Make sure the wires are neatly organised and out of the way, and then just clip on the cover with the magnets. That's the nozzle changed. If you're replacing it with the same size and style nozzle just for maintenance, that's it, you're good to go. If, however, you change the nozzle with a different size, or if you're switching between stainless steel and hardened steel, you've got one more step. Go onto your printer's screen and select the Settings cog tab on the left, go up to the Maintenance tab at the top, and then make sure that the style and size of your nozzle is correct. Remember that some sizes are only available in some styles. Select that, then you're ready to go back to home and start printing. Now that you're set up and ready to print with your new nozzle size, make sure that when you're slicing your model ready to print, you have the correct nozzle size selected in your slicer. If it isn't available from the drop-down menu, jump into the configuration wizard, tick the box next to the nozzle size that you're now using, click OK, and it will be added to the drop-down menu for quick access later on. In this video, I was focusing on how to swap out the complete Hotend assembly for the Bambu Labs X1C, which is perfect if you want to be able to quickly and easily swap between different nozzle sizes. I'll soon be releasing another video covering the additional steps required if you wanted to just swap out the nozzle and heat sink, perfect for replacing them for maintenance. Keep an eye out for that video coming very soon. Thanks for sticking around, guys. If you did find this video useful, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. That will make me smile. While you're here, why not check out one of my new designs that took advantage of being able to swap between the 0.4 and 0.2mm nozzles, or some of my Bambu Studio tutorials. Until next time, thanks very much and happy printing.